Welcome to the Citizen Channel. You're all staying safe and well. We have match report today. We're going to look back at Manchester City 1, Chelsea 0. A fantastic day. 15th of January, 12:30 p.m. kick-off. We're going to have a quick look at that. And please, I've got a little bit of hoarse after the game, and I've got a little bit of a cough as well. Anyway, so please forgive me if I do cough or anything throughout this. Just a couple of things before we talk about the game, guys. The channel's monetized now, so if you want any ads that interest you, if you can watch them or follow links, etc., that'll be fantastic. It'll help me help the channel going forward. If you can do that for me, if you just want to press that skip button, skip it. It doesn't really make any difference. Just if you can help us out, it'll sort of help me moving forward with the channel. And the other thing as well, obviously, I've got a dental mishap. I've got a bit of a gap, so if you're wondering what's going on there, that's obviously just a little gap that I've had before that the dentist keeps fixing and promises me it'll last for 3 or 4 years, and 2 or 3 months later it's back again. I chipped the tooth again, so we'll have to sort it out. But please forgive me if I look a bit goofy today. My apologies. I'm not a bit psychologically. It affects me. I'm big on psychology. I don't like it, but obviously we've got to do these vlogs, haven't we, guys? So please, I hope you don't mind. Right, the team, City's team. Yeah, I got 9 right. That wasn't too bad, was it? I got 9 right out of the City's team. Edison, Walker, Stones. I didn't have Stones in. Obviously, I had Diaz in there. Laporte, Cancelo, Rodri, Bernardo, Grealish. Yeah, I had Gundogan in for Grealish. A bit brave of Pep, I thought. Grealish, yeah, it's interesting forward line. I think he wanted to really test Chelsea and say, I think he knew it's going to be quite difficult. So someone like Grealish, who perhaps can create a little bit of room, etc. KDB, Foden and Raheem Sterling, of course. And the subs were Stefan Diaz, Gundogan, Jesus, Ferner, and Betty, McAtee, Lavia, Wilson, Esbrand. So say 4 or 5 kids on the bench again. Their team, yeah, I think Ziyech was a bit of an unusual one. Ziyech, how you pronounce that, I'm not too sure. I think he was a surprise to me. Kepa, Sarr, Silva, Rudiger, Aspilicueta, Conte, Kovacic, Alonso, Pulisic, Ziyech, and Lukaku. Yeah, so yeah, interesting look. As I said, I think I said in the preview, Lukaku either usually has a wonderful game or looks like an absolute clown, doesn't he? So he's probably a little bit towards the clown element today, I think. And Mr. Pawson was in charge. Yeah, he likes a yellow card, and we saw that very early in this game, didn't we? Like, he was certainly, and I don't mind that. That certainly kept a couple of the Chelsea players on edge anyway, because obviously they were a bit wary after they got the early yellow card. So I didn't mind that because they thoroughly deserved it as well. So he does like a yellow card, and we saw 2 or 3 today. Darren England was on VAR, but I don't think there's any real need for him today, was there? I don't think anything went to VAR that I can remember. Yeah, fantastic win. A totally deserved win today for City. So we'll have a quick brief summary of the action. Say it wasn't the most prolific game, end-to-end stuff, was it? Certainly the shots quota was a little bit low. As I said, Pawson within 7 minutes of giving his first yellow card out. But it was a bit more probing, wasn't it? I thought at the start of the game, to be kind to the game. I think City were probing, Chelsea were trying to hit us a little bit on the break, a very rigid formation. Played okay. I mean, obviously against lesser teams, it probably works fine. But obviously, City never lost heart, as we don't. We worked hard, and it didn't always work out. Kevin, in particular, was trying to find those little balls through, and occasionally we sent one skitting across the 6-yard box with no one on the end of it, stuff like that. But of course, I think Chelsea more or less played as I thought Pep and Marcel, most of us thought they would play, to be honest with you, trying to get us on the break. They had a couple of okay moves. I think there was a chance for them where I think Stone slipped into, or he stumbled, and then Lukaku obviously went through. It was obviously the other end to where we stand, but obviously by passing it to one of his teammates, he was then offside. He sort of ruined the move. I think he probably could have gone on his own, but as I'm recording this, there's no highlights available yet on TV, so I'll probably know better later. But that's my understanding of it from being at the game today anyway. First clear chance for City, yeah, probably 39 minutes, wasn't it? KDB sort of blocked. I think it was Kovacic had made a bit of an error on the edge of his own box, and sort of KDB, a deflection, fell to Grealish, who just couldn't put it past Kepa. He's not prolific scorer, Grealish, but it would have been so wonderful for him and us, of course, if that had gone in. Good save by Kepa. He spread himself well, but obviously, Grealish could have done perhaps better. He wasn't having such a bad game till then as well, but obviously some people will get a bit of a downer on him because of that. But this at least lit us up a little bit. I think KDB went close, didn't he, a couple of minutes after with a rise in effort on, I think it was 43 minutes. Perhaps he should have got it on target. But there you go. That was sort of 0-0 at half time, and it was a bit of a damp squib, wasn't it? As I said, not particularly City's fault. We did get behind them and through them occasionally. We just didn't have the sort of extra man in the box to make it tell. I mean, I was chatting to my lad at half time. He was saying before the game it'd be a 4-0 win, but I did say at half time this is just one goal's going to settle this for either side. So there we go into the second half, and Chelsea started a little bit brighter. They had a great chance, didn't they? Lukaku again. He couldn't beat Ederson though. Fantastic save by Ederson. He got off this, and again I've not been able to watch it back, so don't know how good it looks on the telly, etc. But it was a guy being right behind him, of course, in the south stand. It was a fantastic save. I think they had another little chance after that as well, very quickly after that. But yeah, it was more or less sort of City then, wasn't it? I don't remember any great chances for Chelsea after about the first 5 or 10 minutes of that second half. 63 minutes, a KDB free kick, of course, was comfortably saved by Kepa trying to find the top corner. 68 minutes, yeah, a quietish Foden shot one wide when he perhaps could have done a little bit better with it. 70 minutes, though, all hell lets loose, doesn't it, as KDB swats away the nuisance that is Conte in the middle of the pitch after being played into space. I think it was Cancelo. I think Laporte won the initial ball as well and headed it out to Cancelo, who played KDB into space, who ran with it again. From my angle, he seemed to run with it for 10 or 20 yards and then just let fly. And Kepa must have been unsighted because I don't think he was in the far right corner, but it sort of nestled in the corner and obviously bent round Kepa. So perhaps KDB had used, say, some defenders to sort of obviously block his shot, if you like, from the view of Kepa. So I'll be interested to see that one back. But a fantastic goal by KDB there. These sort of games need those sort of goals, don't they? And I thought at that time that would probably be enough. Again, 72 minutes. Yeah, Chelsea did have another chance. Laporte got a good block in from a Werner effort. Werner, wherever he's goal. He came on a sub, didn't he, in the second half. That was on goal. I'm not too sure whether Ederson would have saved it, but a great block from Laporte. And yeah, 83 minutes. I mean, we did sort of push to put it to bed the game, didn't we? 83 minutes again, and out of sorts Foden. Some great work by Sterling on the right hand side, and Foden just blasts over when it looked easy to at least hit the target. So that was disappointing. And we sort of played out the remaining 10 minutes. It was only 3 minutes injury time. Looking more likely to score than Chelsea, that's for sure. We just had totally controlled the game in that the last, say, third of the game. Chelsea didn't really offer that much at all. Very, very disappointing from their aspect, certainly not for us. But obviously 1-0 down, you think they perhaps would have changed tack a little bit and took a chance. But hey, perhaps Mr. Tuchel can't really change his plan A. Like perhaps Pep has a plan, doesn't he? He usually sticks to it. Perhaps Tuchel's the same, unfortunately. But that's how it goes. The key stats, yeah, just 11 shots from City, which is low. That's probably the lowest of the season from memory. 6 on target, 4 from Chelsea, just 1 on target. I think that's the first one they've had on target for both games this season, so not great. Possession, 56% for City. Yeah, it felt a little bit more than that, just 56%. Pass completion wasn't great either, but I think that just shows that Chelsea, even though they weren't fantastic, they did work hard and they did just really test us. Our pass completion was 86% and Chelsea's was 84%, so not a lot in it, but say that's quite low for City. Right, on to the ratings, guys. My starting score for the ratings, Stuart Brennan's doing the Manchester Evening News ones. I'll give you his views first, and then I'll add my little 2 pennyworth at the end. I'm going to start with a 7. I've not given anyone less than a 7, although a couple of guys today didn't quite hit the straps. They weren't quite at it for me, but it'd be churlish. I think I mentioned it'd be churlish to give anyone less than 7, to be honest with you. So as a team effort, as a team game today, I'm going to give everyone at least 7. So if they did much better than that, we'll get a bit higher than that. So let's see what we end up with. Right, Stuart Brennan, Mr. Ederson. Yeah, great save from Lukaku, says Stuart, early in the second half. Earned his corner, a rare Chelsea attack. So Stuart's giving me 7. I've given him an 8. I thought it was a crucial save at crucial time, 1-0, 0-0. And he kept it to 0-0 with that fantastic save. Yeah, I didn't have any problems. There was a header in the second half when he came out and headed it comfortably out for a throw-in when the ball came through. No, I'm going to give him an 8. I don't think he did anything particularly wrong at all. I think Stuart's just a little bit mean with 7, to be honest with you. That's, he was better than standard. Kyle Walker, Stuart says, started with an error but got better and better. His burn off of Ziyech was spectacular. Yes, oh yeah, I mean you're not going to outrun Kyle, are you? Stuart's given me 7. I've given him a 7.5. He's got to be worth another extra half point. A good, solid return. He's not played for a bit, as he, don't forget. And lively. I love the way out at the wing he was sort of forcing the players and ducking under and getting throw-ins and stuff. Because obviously, rather than have an aerial duel with a Chelsea player, he was sort of just holding his ground, really. I like that side of it. John Stones, Stuart says, stumbled to hand Chelsea their best chance. He did, but his head stayed up and he defended superbly. He did defend. I thought he was excellent today, considering he's not been playing there. I thought Stones and Laporte worked really well together. Stuart's given him a 7. I've given him a 7.5. Yes, a stumble, but I thought it was a cracking return from John Stones. A lot of good things going on with John Stones. Aymeric Laporte, says Stuart, perfect foil for Stones, and his solid defending was garnished by some intelligent passing. Yeah, I saw 1 or 2 jittery moments where he made certainly in the second half, when obviously he was defending the end I was at, where he gave the ball away at least once or twice, or didn't cut something out. But I did see a lot of positives as well. So I'm going to agree with Stuart. I'll give him a 7. I'm not going to give him of the pair. I thought Stones was the better player. But I will give him a 7, just because for whatever he did wrong, he did a couple of things right, so that's okay. He didn't do too much wrong. João Cancelo, athletic, says Stuart. Defending was enough, but he was at his best, purring forward, playing 1-2s. Yeah, it's given him an 8. So Stuart liked João Cancelo. I've given him a 7.5, as I said, without watching the game back, as he's just based from being there in the ground. So I'll give him a 7.5. A lot of freedom, always active, always up for it, trying his little outside of the boot passes, stuff like that. So, I'll give him a 7.5. Rodri, Stuart said, enhance his reputation. Does he have to do that anymore? I thought he'd already earned his reputation by now. As one of City's best this season by putting his stamp on midfield. Yeah, I think he did. Stuart's given an 8. I'm going to give him a 7.5. I'm not going to go as high as Stuart. I think he enjoyed himself. He was popping up. You sort of notice he's a big lad, isn't he? You do notice him in the middle. I think he had a good game today. I think he sort of just enjoyed himself in that middle of the pitch. KDB, Stuart said his work rate and pressing have been excellent, and he capped that off with a top quality goal. So let's give him an 8. I'll give him an 8.5 because I thought it was always a pain for Chelsea, always a worry for Chelsea. And at the end of the day, what a run, what a goal. I say, not everything he tried came off. He had a bit of an injury scared, didn't he? I know he came off, but I think he was all right. He played on after his little knock anyway, so that's always a worry when you see KDB sat down. What a run, what a goal. I'm going to give him 8.5. Bernardo Silva, Stuart said, usual blend of tireless efficiency and moments of sumptuous skill to keep Chelsea on the back foot. Absolutely. He's giving a 7, though. I mean, that's a bit mean, I think. I was impressed. Look at those slide. He must have done at least 6 slide tackles that I can remember, where he ran back and won the ball. And I think he won them all. I think there might have been one he ended up not quite winning it, but fantastic. All right, not perhaps as creative going forward, but his tenacity and his willing to work, absolutely brilliant. So I'll give him an 8, Bernard. I'm going to give him an 8 because I thought he was absolutely superb today. Raheem Sterling, well, what can we say? Stuart said, forced Chelsea. Well, we're going to say something. Stuart said, forced Chelsea to double up on his side as he ran Alonso ragged with dagger thrusts at Chelsea's heart. He certainly did. So Stuart's given him an 8. I can't disagree with that. All right, there's nothing specific that he. Well, there is specific. He set things up, and obviously we didn't put it in the net. I mean, you think of the Phil Foden one, for instance, but he was just a constant pain. He looked up for it, and he sort of was running by players for fun. There was probably a couple of cross balls where there's no one in the box and stuff like that. Raheem Sterling should be proud of his game today. I thought he played very, very well. Phil Foden, Stuart said, not his best game, wasn't, but he occupied the centre-backs, worked his socks off and remained a menace. Yeah, that's all we can ask. If you have a bad game, at least be a pain in the arse. That's what I like from the players. So Stuart's given him a 7. I've given him a 7 as well. Not at it, but then again, he was playing, don't forget, he was playing that sort of false 9 position, wasn't he? He was sort of, which he doesn't really excel at, does he? But, excuse me, just taking one for the team, of course. So I've got to give him at least a 7. So I will give him a 7, even though it wasn't his best day. Jack Grealish, another interesting one. Stuart said his first half miss was a shame. It was. as he did most things right and stretched Chelsea perfectly. Yeah, I thought that was the best. It was a different style to Sterling, of course he is, but I think Chelsea did struggle with him that first half. Stuart's give him a 7. I'll have to give him a 7. I'm not going to give him more than 7. I'm not going to get it, but similar to Foden, he did some good stuff. But yeah, if he'd only scored that goal, it would have been a different game. Then who knows? We might not have even gone on to win it. I mean, goals changes games, but it might have kicked Chelsea into action or changed the formation from Tuchel in the second half. At 0-0, he's not going to change much, is he? So in a way, it perhaps. Boded well, but the fact he didn't score because it stayed 0-0. Tuchel played the same tactics and we managed to get a goal, so all well and good. So yeah, it's okay. It's a shame. Just for him as well, just for his confidence, it would have been nice for Grealish to score. Ilkay Gundogan came on 85 minutes. Of course, no time to mark him. I remember a nice little run, didn't he? But 2 or 3 players and laid it off, I remember. That was okay. Gabby Jesus came on for Foden on 89 minutes. Again, no time to mark. Don't really remember too much. And the man of the match, yeah, for me, it's probably between Sterling and KDB. And I'm going to give it Sterling. I'm going to give it KDB on the basis that he was the match winner. And sometimes you need that for them sort of games, don't you? Where you play okay, you play it pretty well, but the opposition is tough. And you need one moment of magic, and we got it from KDB. So our overall home record now in the league against Chelsea, he's played 77, won 36, drawn 17, lost 24, 114 goals for, 85 against. Right, Chelsea going forward, yeah, I mean, they are dogged, aren't they? Some people might be unfair and say boring. But yeah, and they have to be dogged against the likes of City. They don't sort of meet teams of City's calibre week in, week out. But Tuchel's quite willing to forget some of his any attacking fluency and just graft and work hard as a unit. And we kept our chances to the minimum. Say we only managed 11 shots in the whole game, which is quite low for City. But they did work hard in the same way City did. I thought they worked hard on and off the ball. I thought the goalkeeper played okay. Obviously, Mendy's a big miss. I thought Kepa was okay. I thought he was fine. So Tuchel almost got it right, didn't he? As I say, it may have been a good thing if Grealish had scored that goal and perhaps we'd gone in 1-0 as far as Chelsea are concerned, because Tuchel might have changed it round a little bit. But he was happy with 0-0. And I think Chelsea would have been happy with a draw, even though it would have still left them 10 points behind. It was just they didn't want to lose it, but by not wanting to lose it, they played perhaps far too negative, and Tuchel should have been a little bit braver. I use the word brave. I mean, someone calls people cowards. I'd rather say he should have been braver rather than a coward, but Tuchel has his way of playing. We don't know how COVID's affecting teams. I mean, it's probably upsetting Mr. Tuchel because we've hardly had any cases, have we? But yeah, but they were okay, Chelsea, of course, yeah, and they've got to be, obviously, the 13 points behind, more or less, knocks them out of the title. All right, there's 16 games left, isn't there? But 16 games, 13 points. In one-off games, we know Chelsea are a real threat, and today they were a threat, of course they were, but at the end of the day, the best team won. I think Tuchel said they deserved a draw. I don't know where he got that from, but 13 points is pretty much, unless City implode, that knocks their chances on the head. And I've been thinking for the last month or so, certainly with 4 draws now and a couple of defeats in the last 6 games for Chelsea in the league, third spot is probably nailed on. They'll still have enough to do that, but they're not. I think Liverpool are probably safe as our main competition now. And as I say, I think Tuchel just a little bit too timid today. But interesting that he said they deserved a draw. So absolute garbage, Mr. Tuchel. You don't know what you're talking about. But we'll see what other pundits say who aren't sort of dyed-in-the-wool City fans. So yeah, third spot and a cup of some sort for them. But I don't think we saw anything of Chelsea today that we didn't expect, did we? Let's be honest about it. City, well, all credit. I mean, we never stopped. This is one again. The guys don't need lifting for these games, do they? They worked hard from the goalkeeper to the guy out on the left wing. They worked all through the 11. They worked hard. Even guys who didn't have a great game still worked hard. And occasionally in these sort of games, we need a Vinny moment, don't we? We need a Vinny versus Leicester moment, not or obviously an Aguero moment. I mean, obviously go back further, but we do need a Vinny moment in these sort of games, and that's what we got from KDB today, and that's great to see because he's the sort of player who can produce them sort of moments for us. And that, just as I said, psychologically, from the point of view, that more or less knocks Chelsea out of it. Psychologically, City now must keep winning these games. We've got Southampton up next, because psychologically we've got to knock Liverpool out as well. We're getting to them. Because Tuchel and Klopp have been having a good moan lately, haven't we? So, about COVID, and now we don't have the injuries and all this rubbish. But so psychologically, we're getting to them. So if we keep winning the games, as I say, by the time we play Liverpool, when it comes round, if we keep winning these games, and Liverpool might slip up once or twice now they haven't got the 2 or 3 main guys who've gone off to Africa. It could more or less, fingers crossed, be all over by the time we play them at our place. So it doesn't really matter. And obviously, psychologically, we've already beaten them before we play them, so that'd be good. So the Saints next for us. So let's carry on. There's another 3 points. Let's not undo the good work we did today. But as I say, it took a moment of magic to do it. But sometimes that's what happens with games. That's just how it is with football. But overall, we deserved it. Overall, we played very well as a team today. As I say, not everyone was at the peak. But as you say, with all this COVID and stuff, you don't know just how physically fit all the guys are and stuff like that. And obviously, Pep's not been there, has he, to train them in the training session. So, yeah, a great win today. I don't think Tuchel's had those problems, although he's done nothing but whinge. But you're saying City sort of try to play the cards quite close to the chest, don't they? Again, psychologically, I was interested to know that he said we had more players out with COVID, but he didn't say who. And obviously, why should he? Why should he give Chelsea any hints before the game? So great stuff from City, and let's carry on regardless. And I'm off to Southampton next week, so please join me when we do our usual History Boys. I've not decided what that is yet. I'll have to have a look. It's sort of 7 days away. I've given myself a rest. I've not even looked yet, so I'll have a look what the History Boys feature will be, and of course the odd show and the preview, and then obviously I'll be toddling on down. And I never went to the Dell, so I've never actually been to City at Southampton, so it'll be a first for me. I never got to the Dell, and when I was a kid, when I went to a lot of these games, sort of all the distance ones, I struggled financially, so I went up to there's quite a few London games I didn't get to, London grounds I didn't get to that often. And obviously Southampton was way down there. My lad's been to Portsmouth, but he's not been to Southampton. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So join me next week anyway for the History Boys show, which will be fun, whatever it is, and the odd show and the preview show. And there's probably a couple of programme watches and perhaps another history feature of some sort next week. Got loads piled up there. I need to start putting those out, obviously as I can, and I keep doing more and more. I just end up with a big library of videos, so I've got lots for you to enjoy. So I hope you enjoyed that. So anyway, guys, give us a thumbs up if you're still with me. And let's say onwards and upwards, City, fantastic. Manchester City 1, Chelsea 0, 13 points clear. All right, Liverpool got a couple of games in hand. But obviously that they can. I think how many are they behind? They were 8. Is the 11? They'll get 6, 9. I'm not even too sure how far. I haven't got the table in front of me. Anyway, it doesn't matter, does it? We keep winning. No one can stop us, can they, guys? Anyway, thanks for watching. What are we going to do the rest of the day? Have a great one. Look after yourselves. Look after your friends. Look after your families. More important, let's all look after each other. To be here again on the Citizen channel. I only ask one thing. Well, look after your teeth. That's one thing you can do. I only ask one other thing. Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.